So, I wanted to talk about precision fermentation. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it's it's the process of genetically modifying certain things in order to get a product, especially food, or I think food. So I was reading and watching these videos on it. It's pretty crazy stuff. There's this company that's coming up with these products. They're all dairy, and they claim that their products are going to be exactly like dairy, and we don't need to go through all of these sources referring to animals in order to get the product that we want. And that's going to be implemented not only with dairy but other things that we consume in the future, and it's going to cause a huge disruption in the system. If you know anything about it, please let me know, because I'm deeply interested. And they say that it's gonna come to a point where you're gonna be able to design your own food. How crazy is that? Yeah, I was completely shocked by it. So I'm probably gonna do some more research so I can educate myself on that a little bit more. The way things are going, how fast technology is just moving, people are just not able to keep up. Not even the government. It's like kind of crumbling. Especially crypto, you know. I bet most of you have crypto, especially Bitcoin. I don't think a lot of people really understand what decentralization actually means. It basically means chaos, because there's no way to have a decentralized system without it being centralized. That is the big paradox. You just can't. A lot of these nations are not going to be willing to give up all the power, the money, the control they have. So it's definitely going to cause a lot of chaos, and whoever hasn't already adapted to this new system, they're going to be the ones that are going to be suffering. And I don't think people realize that at all. That the walls that we have, the so-called freedom that we enjoy from day to day, those walls are built on suffering and blood. So we gave up. We gave up a lot of things in order to gain others. And these walls are kept due to the whole system that we currently have. And you can complain about how much you pay and your insurance and your taxes, but there's a reason why things are the way they are. And I'm not saying the system is correct. It's completely effed up. But I'm also saying that there is a way why things are the way they are. And people fail to see this. So yeah, I don't know how the whole thing is gonna really be, what's gonna become of it. I would love to hear some opinions on it, because I don't really have that many people to talk to about these things. Most of the people that are around me, like at work or around, just generally around, only talk about their lives and their problems, which, you know, I'm not very interested in. I'm currently writing a paper on mental illnesses, completely off subject, but it's a paper on illnesses, and it's a huge, I think it's controversial, right? Because it's either true or it's not. And I've personally dealt with it, and I know people that deal with it, and I have known people that dealt with it, like, as a child. So I've seen it firsthand, and it is a thing. I've seen it. Of course there are different levels to the spectrum, but it's definitely a thing. The only thing that I don't like is people trying to justify their actions on depression and anxiety. Like, it's not right. You can rewire your thinking, rewire your brain in a way that you can make a change in your life. If you're so depressed and anxious, do something about it. I've been there, and I've managed to get myself back up every single time. And the only way that I did that was by changing my diet, by going for runs, by reading, educating myself, learning about things. That is the only way that you can get yourself out of it, by pushing yourself. I've tried therapists. They didn't work. None of them. So it was me, myself, and I. That's the only person that was there for me, that helped me. So yeah, I don't like people justifying their actions on that. There's this online therapy thing. I don't know if it's still around, but didn't that come out around the pandemic, when people were at home a lot, often? I don't know if you see the correlation there, but yeah, there's that. I'm not gonna get into that, but a lot of people, tell you there's this stuff being pushed out that you're supposed to, get off bed, start running, start exercising, start doing all these things. That's not how your body and brain works. You have to kind of change your mind by developing new habits, so your body and mind can adapt to these new habits. You don't just change overnight. I don't like a lot of these people saying these things, that you're just supposed to change overnight so fast. It takes a lot of time and commitment. It's a lot of time. A lot of time and commitment. So there's this guy. There's this dude. His name, I think his name is Luke Belmar. He talks about, like, get up, do this, do that, like, change your life, change your thinking, and all of these things. I don't know how long it took him to do all of these things and change his mindset and all that, but I can tell you that it wasn't overnight, and it wasn't a week or two or a month. It was a very long process, huge, and it takes time and effort. So if you are struggling with it, then don't feel bad at all. Just take your time. And by taking your time, I don't mean take years. Because after a few years, if you still don't see change, it's because, you're not making any change, and you should definitely do things differently. Anyway, so I'm also writing a paper on Alex Jones. I think that's his name. If you haven't heard of him, it's this guy. He said that the shooting, let me see, what was it called? The Sandy Hook shooting. It was a hoax. He said it was just not true. That the only reason why they did that was so they could reinforce the gun laws and take guns away from people. And the parents from these children sued him, and the ruling was $1 billion. How irrational and delusional is that? They made this cartoon about him. He was completely naked, and he had this barrel on top, and there was a sign right next to him that said the $1 billion man. Yeah, was he even worth that much? Did he even have that much money to pay? I don't know when this happened. I think this happened about like maybe a year ago or so. But it's just, it's terrible. Like, how? At this point, you can't even say anything anymore, because the moment you do, you immediately are the bad guy. And if you know what I'm referring to, Like, if you don't agree with them, then you're against them. Oops. Anyways, I'm not gonna get into that because I'm not trying to cause problems for myself right now. This is just a chat to, I don't know, whoever's listening, it's just a chat in general. I don't know if I said that already, but I don't really have that many people to talk to about these subjects, and I want to hear some, input, some outside perspective from other people that think similarly or disagree. I would even like to hear that, honestly. I actually do consider everything and try to listen as much as I can. I shut up for the most part when I'm talking to someone and try not to talk over them so I can learn something. I can be pretty stubborn sometimes, and but generally I do try to understand where people are coming from, so definitely talk, leave some comments. Especially, I want to know your age. I want to know what you're doing, what you're thinking. What are your plans for the future? What are you accomplishing? What are you doing for yourself? And where you're at in life? I want to know everything. I like people watching. I like to observe people, what they do, how they act, and how they behave, I guess. It's pretty sad to see these people sometimes, the way they're just like, they're like robots. They act certain ways just so they can fit in and kind of make others like them. I'm completely against that. I don't try to act a certain way for people who don't like me. Just act like myself. I stay true to myself always. Another thing, have you guys heard of Temu? It's like this website. They sell very, very cheap, ridiculously cheap stuff, and they're saying that it's becoming the new Amazon. I was looking at some of their charts, their sales, and they have skyrocketed, and it's pretty insane. Yeah, if you know something about that, let me know too, because I was looking to buy some product from Temu actually because of that reason. They were so cheap. So yeah, there's that. Anyways, I gotta work on these papers that I'm writing, so I'll make some time for a future video, hopefully. So until then, peace.